I mean, for me, it was the most life-changing experience I've ever been on. I
Oh,
mean, I don't know if you're ready to
100%.
make that judgment yet, but
No, I've said that as like, it is definitely, if I could go back to any kind of moments, it would be when I was on there, because it was just one of the best things I ever did for myself.
So you went to the lakes, you got to the mountains.
Yes. Oh, it was.
What do you remember,
it was
the first thing you
beautiful. I remember I saw the lake, because obviously it literally overlooks it, and I was just in awe. And I think the time of day arrived as well. You could kind of just see the sun nearly
You look over the lake
setting.
and you see the high street going into the distance.
It was just incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I was just jaw dropped to just how beautiful it was.
I have never forgotten that view.
No.
I go back almost every year, and the first thing I want to look at is the view across the lake from the mounting school, as it was called
Literally,
then, and
just
looking
to
at
sit
the
on
high
that
street.
little like part just outside the building, that little like slope. You just got a perfect view. Oh, it just doesn't
even though it was 1967, a long time ago, and the way that it was done was probably different. If you go back now, as I do probably every other year, it doesn't look that different. I mean, clearly lots of different things are going on, but it doesn't actually look that different.
The landscape's still there.
I could be transported back to that month. So what was your most exciting thing you did, do you think?
I think I really enjoyed the cliff jumping. I think it was probably exciting because it was one of the things that I was most scared to do, because I've never thought of myself as a person that was scared of heights. It never bothered me until I got to the top of that cliff, and I was like, okay, maybe I am a bit scared, because it's not just like, you know, how you're scared of heights if you're on the top of like a high building or something. It's like, I'm going to jump and there are rocks there, and it's just quite overwhelming. But it was so nice because I literally had I think there was 5 of us in the group, and I had the 4 friends, and they were all in the water and the instructor. And it was like watching everyone do it and having them being like, come on, you could do it. And it was just being able to do it, and the thrill of like when you hit the water and you get in, and I just couldn't stop then.
It sounds amazing. I am frightened of heights.
Yeah.
So the first time I had to climb a rock face was really difficult for me.
Yeah.
And I was really scared, and I was not convinced I was going to get up. And when I actually got to the top, the sense of achievement was huge.
And you remember that the most. That's the most exciting bit, because you did what you didn't think that
And then
you
the
could
instructor turned around and said, you've got to abseil down. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to abseil down here. And I did, I managed it.
Yeah,
and again, getting to the bottom, I suddenly thought, that is really achieved something I never thought I was going to do, because a 14-year-old lad, I'd never been on a mountain, I'd never abseiled.
Incredible.
It was incredible to do that, and overcoming what for me was a basic fear. I mean, that was really important.
But it is though, I think there's like, I found almost that it was kind of like 2 different types of fears. There was like that immediate fear if you're about to climb a rock face or face some heights or jump off. Like there's that fear when you're there. But I noticed as well that I had quite a lot of fear and doubts when we were sat in the rooms and we were planning our routes. Because we did a few days on an expedition, then came back, did a few days, came back. So when we were back and we were planning our next expedition, we were looking and we were like, we're going to go up this steep hill bit there, then we're going to walk for a few miles, then we're going to go up and down and steep. And I was scared, because I was like, my body is tired. I was like, I was the tiniest person in my group, and I was like, I was worried. I was like, I don't want to let the rest of my group down by saying I'm not going to be able to do that. But I was like, I am so scared to do that walk. And it was almost kind of like that dread. But again, getting over that felt so good, because it's something I've even taken into my exams. Because yes, I might have been the slowest person of the group, or I might have struggled the most getting up those really steep hills or doing the walk. But when we finished it, I was like, you know what, I might have been slower, but I did the exact same walk that everybody else did. I was like, it didn't matter, because I did what they did. And I did it, you know what I mean? I didn't do any less. I didn't take an easier route. And it's just, you know, even taking it into my exams now, like if I've found something hard, but like I've still done that same thing that everybody else has done. And that just really stuck with me.
I think that was important to me. Partly it was the individual challenge, challenging
100%.
yourself both physically and mentally. But then it was the collective challenge.
Yeah.
And in a way, I found the collective challenge more difficult, learning to work with others,
Oh, yeah,
learning to
definitely.
depend upon others. I mean, I don't know if you climbed that high wall.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a big
I
high
think,
wall
yes,
there, yeah?
yeah, we did do
And
that.
you try and do it on your own, you can't do it.
No.
And the whole point is you do it collectively, you do it
Yeah.
as a team. And it took me a long time to learn as working as a team actually was probably more beneficial than working on my own.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was a little bit arrogant, I think, in a way, and a little bit individual in my
Yeah.
approach to things. And learning to work with others was a vital lesson for life, really.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah?
Did you find it like brought you closer to the people in your group going
Yeah,
through
I mean,
that together? Did you?
When you
Yeah.
camped out
Yeah.
and your tent is frozen to the ground, literally,
Yeah.
and the wind is howling on a mountainside, you know, you get to know who your friends are.
Yeah,
You know, you work really
100%.
closely with them, and it's really important. And again, that sort of camaraderie is something that developed over the 4 weeks we were there. So
Yeah.
we had a lot of time to get to know each other, to get to know our strengths and our weaknesses. And I think that was quite important. I mean, for me, it was the most life-changing experience I've ever been on. I
Oh,
mean, I don't know if you're ready to
100%.
make that judgment yet, but
No, I've said that as like it is definitely, if I could go back to any kind of moments, it would be when I was on there, because it was just one of the best things I ever did for myself. And I say, like, when I say for myself, it almost sounds selfish, but sometimes I think you have to be in terms of like you wanting to develop yourself, and I made that decision to do that for myself. Like, I didn't know anybody that was there.
Yep.
You know, I didn't go with anyone else. Like, I'm going to do this for myself, and I ended up meeting 4 of the best friends I could have ever had. Because, like I said, you don't get any other friendship like it. Not many friends that you'll just go out with for a meal or just see on a date, like at school or whatever, will have seen you at your worst. I remember there was a girl in our group, and she was she was a little bit nervous as well, but she really struggled with things like putting up a tent on the first exhibition. And a massive thing for her is she couldn't swim. We spent loads of time in that lake, like even just in our free time, because of it being so hot, we're like, can we just go to the lake for a swim? And yeah, by the start of the 2 weeks, she couldn't swim. But literally every time we were in the water, someone was next to her, someone was getting her to go here, someone was helping her, someone was dragging her. And the most amazing thing was, by the end of the 2 weeks, like I said, when we swam from Howe Town to back to the Ilswater, and there were boats in the water and stuff, like the whole course did it, and she swam it. And it was it was incredible. Like, our whole group, we were all cheering for her. Like, she might have been towards the back a bit, but we didn't care. Like, everyone was just so invested in it, and it was so nice to see, like I said, see it all come together.
So what did you come away with?
Oh, I came away with so much. Like, the first initial thing is I just came away with some new friends. They're really, really amazing people. Like, we had so much time, you know, when we were camping at night, and we'd all sit and like, just found out everybody's life stories, what we wanted to do, just talked about life, talked about each other, and it just really fit with such 5 different people, but we just got on really well, and I'll value those friendships forever. That's probably one of the best things that I took away from it. But I think probably the second thing as well is just believing in myself, because
That's so important.
Oh, it's so important, especially for the time now with my exams. There's so many things. I mean, I hear it all the time as well in school with people my age. I hear the word can't so many times. Like, well, I can't do that. No, well, I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to do that.
Not a word acceptable on the outward bound.
No,
can't.
exactly, exactly. That was literally something our instructor, he was like, we're not saying that. But it was, even when you think it, like with that walk, I was like, I'm not going to be able to do that, but I did it. And you know what I mean? It doesn't matter how long you take or what path you take. I can do what I don't think I can do, and that's something that I massively took away. And it changed my outlook on a lot of things. What about you? What was the biggest thing?
Well, it's interesting because you're at the beginning of your career. I'm at probably the end of my career, or the twilight years of my career. Yeah. And I can honestly say that a lot of what I have achieved in my life, a lot of the roles I've achieved, the positions I've achieved, the successes I've had, the Outward Bound course laid the foundation on that. Partly because I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
It took some time to sink in. It took some time to develop that learning. It didn't happen overnight, you know. This happens over years and years.
Yeah.
I also learned that I could do so much more than I realised, both
Yeah.
individually and collectively. And I think that understanding that anything is possible
Yeah.
is
definitely.
vital, because, you know, I was a working class kid from a council estate,
Yeah.
and I had no expectations to get to university, but I did.
Yeah.
I had no
exactly.
expectations to have a successful career in housing, but I did.
Yeah.
And part of that, for me, was down to the outward bound. You know,
100%. It's changing your mindset.
the mind is incredible. I mean, and knowing that you can do more. And yeah, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It sounds almost like a cliche, but it was a life-changing experience.
Oh, it is though. It's
Yeah.
once you've been on it, you know that feeling. Like as soon as you're on it, that's it. You understand. Yeah, that has changed my life, because it's not something everybody gets a chance to do, or you don't do things that you would do every day, or you wouldn't learn things that you learn about yourself. I mean, I feel like you learn some of the most amazing things about yourself when you're in these kind of high pressure situations, or where you're really testing your limits, and you just learn so much about yourself that you never would have. So you can change your
That's
life.
what's called leadership, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
I get worried that people like me, and maybe people like you,
Yeah.
won't have those opportunities that we had.
Definitely, like I said, I felt lucky that I was able to have the help from my parents, just to be able to fill the amount that I did have to pay, and I couldn't imagine I would have been able to go if it was the full thing. And I can imagine that's the situation with a lot of people, especially in the current climate, with the cost of living is going through the roof for a lot of people. It's definitely more the majority than the minority, and the kind of sponsorship is a lot more few and far between. But it's just a shame, because I remember thinking when I was on the course, I can't believe people go through life having not experienced this. It's one thing it really made me think, and I was just like, I can't believe that there are people that won't be able to experience this, and I know people that probably would really benefit from it. And I just think if it was, you know, a lot more easily accessible then to a lot more people, you know, the benefits would be widely shared.
So we need more sponsorship.
Definitely. Yeah. I think it's just because I know a lot of people as well, are very young people now, don't always get the help from their family. You know, I know quite a lot of people my age who are paying board already, and they, you know, if they want to do things, even if it is something like Outward Bound, they have to fund it for themselves. And I'm a young person, I mean, the minimum wage, I think for someone my age is about £6.50. I could be wrong, something like that. But when you're trying to study and have a job, you know, you don't get time to get that many hours in, especially when you're doing A-levels and things. And it's, you know, a lot on young people that don't have that support from their family. So I think even just a bit, even if it can get one person in, that's one person's life changed.
And one person's life change is beneficial to the whole of society.
Exactly. One person who's had their life changed can change every life that they meet.
Precisely.
Definitely.
Just look at the impact of that. Just look at the leverage. Yeah?
It's all about, you know, the kind of one tiny seed can just like affect so many different things. And, you know, in everybody that you meet, I mean, I shout about it now, or like, I recommend like the outdoors to so many people now. It's like, you know, someone's having a bad day, I'm like, take a walk, spend some time in nature, reflect on yourself, because I just know how much it benefited me. And even, you know, it's even in employability, if you're talking more in that kind of sense, you get that kind of leadership skills and stuff. And that's so many people that don't get that through school, where it's more just academic. You don't learn that many skills that are like, you know, the whole leadership, working as a team, that self-belief, the resilience. They're things that you'll learn on Outward Bound, not in a classroom. And
it's just so important. You put it beautifully. It's like planting a seed.
It is, yeah.
It will grow into a big tree that will benefit everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a beautiful image.
And, you know, it's just need more of those trees, definitely, literally as well.
In the current climate, Outward
Yeah.
Bound is probably needed more than it ever was.
Yeah, oh, 100%.
It was set up in the 1940s, but
It's incredible.
it's probably needed more now in the 2020s than at any time in my life.
Oh,
really.
100%.
And we need just to find ways of funding that, because every individual that we can help, every individual that can have that experience is going to give something much more back to society than if they don't. And it's about intervention.
Yeah,
You know, if you can get and intervene at certain stages of people's lives,
definitely.
you benefit them more than maybe if you do it too late. Yeah.
And it's coping strategies as well,
Mm.
and, you know, and learning things about yourself and how to deal with certain situations in, you know, situations like Outward Bound, and you learn that in a tough situation, actually, no, this is how I get through something. And, you know, when you're in a tough situation in the future, you think back to that and you're like, that's how I handled that then. Let's use this here.
Even
Keep coming
50
back.
years later, I still
Yeah,
use some
yeah.
of the techniques I used then.
You still do. You never forget it.
Would you do it again?
100%. Yeah.
I never
really
had the
would.
chance to do it again. I really regret that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think-
I've done it individually, but I've not done it collectively in the Outward
Yeah.
Bound sense. I wish I had done it again.
No, I think
Yeah.
I definitely will do something like that again. I've got my DV coming up, so I'll probably that'll be a little refresher. Who knows? Maybe I'll go for the 19 days. I did come across the 19-day group on our exhibition, and they looked a lot more tired than we did. Put it that way, but
If we can get the sponsorship, maybe you can do the 19 days.
yeah, definitely. I think I would need a helping hand for that one, but
Okay,
yeah, it would be amazing.
great.